Hello all, welcome to Constellation Training and Placement Services training courses. My name is Vivek Gaurav and today we are going to solve one question paper of TCS NQT exam for the coding section. We shall follow it up with a series of videos of test paper solutions and also conduct live classes for you. During this session, we will solve 10 MCQ questions and 2 coding questions. So without wasting any time, let's start and share my screen. Start. So the first question is that Neela wants to share her coding with a colleague who may modify it. Thus, she wants to include the date of the program creation, the author, and others information with the program. What components should she use? And the correct answer over is comment. Okay, the correct answer is comment. Now, comment, why do we use it? So comments are basically used in a program to make it more readable. Okay, if you want to make your code more readable so that it can be easily understood by the user, you write the comments over there. Okay, like right now you are writing the code which might include 100 or 200 lines of code, but when you start writing in a corporate company, the code can be 1000, 2000, and much more lines of code. Okay, so there it becomes very difficult. So at that point of time, it is very much necessary for you to write the proper comment so that people can understand. If other people are coming over there to work, they can understand your code. So you write, you make the comment with the date creation, the author, and the other details like what is the function made for, why are you using it. Okay, so these are the things. Now just to give you more detail about it, there are two types. One is called a single line comment, right? I hope you all know that one is single line comment. How do you do that? You write it the double slash. And then we have multi-line comment, right? We have multi-line comments. Okay, how do you do that? Multi-line comments, you write it with a slash and then you give a star, and then you write whatever lines you want to write, and then you give a star, and then you give a slash. Okay, so this is the single line comment and the multi-line comment. Okay, so now let's go to the next one. So here, as you saw, the correct answer is the comment part. Okay, now let's go to the next question. So now Anu wants to make a function that is not bound to any identifier. Which of the following functions should she incorporate in her program? The correct answer is public and no modifier, because there is not bound to any modifier. If you are including private or protected and private, you are bounding it to a specifier or identifier. But here it is clearly given not bound to. So that is the reason you will go with the C option. Okay, very straightforward question, not much more to discuss over here. Now, the third question. Asima wants to print a pattern which includes checking and changing a variable value. She decides to use a loop condition. Which of the following options should she use such that the body of the loop condition is executed at least once? Now, this is the one which is giving us the hint. Okay, if you all know that if you want a loop to get executed at least once, you go with do while loop. Okay, why you go with do while loop? Do while loop is called as exit controlled. Okay, it is called as exit controlled loop. I hope you all know that, right? It is called as exit control loop. Now when you write exit control, it means what? The condition will be checked at the end, right? You write do and then you give write whatever you want to write. Here you write while, and then in the bracket you write the condition. So even if the condition is false, by the time the condition is being checked, it has run already once, right? At least once. It has run at least once for sure. That's the reason you go with the do while loop. So the correct answer over here is the third one, which is the do while. Okay, now let's go to the fourth question. So which of the following function from stdio.h can be used in place of printf? Now that is a tricky question. Okay, you might think like fputs also does the same thing, fprintf also does the same thing, fwrite also does the same thing. So which option shall we go for? So here you have to keep in mind the formatting. Okay, you have to keep in mind the formatting option as well. I hope you know what is formatting, right? You use percentile d, right? That is percentile d, percentile c for formatting. So keeping that option in mind, the B option is the correct one, because fprintf only gives you that formatting option. Fputs and fwrite does not give you that option. The correct option here is going to be the fourth one. Okay, sorry, the B one. Okay, this is the one. And as we have clearly mentioned over here, though fputs and fwrite can accept file stream std out and can output the given string, but the input string would not result in formatted containing format specifier output. But if printf can be used for formatted output. Okay, here we have written percentile d a, so it can be used just like printf, as you can see over here. Both are equivalent. The correct answer is B. Okay, this is the correct answer. Okay, now coming to the next question. So consider the following code. Hash include stdio.h, straightforward is there. Okay, then we have int main, int argc. So we have an argument count over here. Then we have a argument array. Then we are declaring another array for items, and then we have two variables, j is equal to 3 and I. Then we are storing the argv, whatever is being passed to the item, and then we are running a loop. Okay, starting for I is equal to 1, the condition, okay, is this I modulus 4. Okay, I modulus 4, that is the condition given over here, and then I plus plus, and then we have declared another pointer, and we are storing it item j. Okay, so we'll start with the last one. The last one will start 3 2 1. It is going to work like this. Okay, then percentile c and then p. Okay, so we will print that as well, whatever is in the third place, whatever is in the second place, whatever is in the first place. Okay, so we will print, and since it is percentile C, so one character of each will be printed. Okay, so let us see what is the next part. Okay, so the above code is run with three command line parameters mentioned here: paper, ink, and pen. Now, what will be the output of the above program? So here, paper, ink, and pen. Okay, so the third one is pen, so P will be there, I, and then P. So the correct answer is going to be PIP. Okay, now what I will do is that I will just type the whole program and show it to you in the command line, because some of the students don't know how to use the command line. Okay, so I'm just stopping my screen share here, and then I'm sharing my dev C++ window, and then I'll type the whole program. Okay, so hash include, okay, sorry, just take the cursor over there, hash include stdio.h, and then we have int main. You can write void main also if you wish to. Okay, in the main we had the parameters, right? We have int argc and then char and then two pointer argv. We had these two. Okay, now here we had another pointer char items we had declared. Then we have int j is equal to 3, and then we had I, and then what we were doing is that we had items is equal to argv. This is what we did, and then we had a loop for I is equal to 1, I modulus 4 we had, and then I plus plus was there. Okay, and inside what we were doing is that we had another pointer, character P is equal to and of items we had, right? This is what we had, and of item, and then G was there inside the bracket. Then what we were doing is that we were printing it, printf percentile C, and then we are printing what? We are printing asterisk asterisk P. Okay, this is what we were printing, right? And then we were declaring the decreasing the value of j. Okay, so here that's it, return 0. So now let me just compile it and just check if everything is fine. Okay, great. So compilation time 0.36 seconds. So now I have compiled it. Okay, now whenever you have to run a program in the command line, you do not run it here, you just compile it and keep it. Okay, so that an exe file can be generated. Okay, so now I'm stopping the screen share, and then I'm opening my command line. Okay, command prompt. Here I'll go to the file location. Okay, so what I will do is here is that, okay, I'll go to the E drive that had my file in it. Okay, and it is already in dev C++ files. Now the file name which I had was test11.exe. That was the file name .exe, and then I'll give that three input. It was paper, and then it was ink, and then it was pen. Okay, now I'm running it. Now as you can see, PIP is the output that we are getting. Okay, so while running the command line, using the command line, what you have to do is that you have to first compile the file, then come to the path location where your file is stored. There you write the file name along with the exe extension, and then give the parameters. Okay, this is how you run the file in the command line. So now I'm stopping the screen share, and then I'm going back to the presentation. Okay, so now I believe you can see the presentation. Great. So that was the correct option. Okay, PIP was the correct option. Now going to the next question. Improper formation of which of the following data structure can cause unintentional looping of a program that uses it? Okay, and the correct answer is linked list. Why? Because in linked list, what you do is that you create nodes, right? You create nodes. One is having the address and the other is having the value. The first one is having the value and the other is having the address. So the second one is pointing to the next one, right? This is how it happens. Then it again a value, then it again address, right? So if it is not proper, what can happen is that you might end up looping, looping into it, right? You might go up again in a round robin fashion. So there it is very much important that you use the correct loop for like you use the correct formation. Okay, that is very much important. So that is the correct answer. So uh, Linked list is the correct answer. Now going to the next question, question number 7. Which of the following is true? Okay, so array is a dynamic data structure whose size can be changed while stacks are static data structure. No, this is false. This is absolutely false. Okay, array element can be accessed and modified only at the end of the array. No, this is also false. We can modify array at our will. An array can have elements of different data type. No, this is also false, right? Why? Because you declare array, you declare at int a5. So you are already specifying the data type that it is of integer type. It cannot change. Okay, the last one. So the last one by default, all it is going to be true because the first one is false, second one is false, third one is false. But here you look at into it. Elements of a linked list can be accessed only sequentially, and this is absolutely true, right? Reason being is that when you declare a linked list, you declare like this is, let's suppose we have three, we have one over here, this is having the address, this is having three, this is having the address, this is having four, this is having, let's suppose, null because it is not pointing to anyone, and then you have a node parent which is pointing to this. Okay, now this only contains the address of this one, and this contains the address of the next one. So even if you want to reach over here, first you have to go here so that it will point to the next one, then you have to go here, then only you will reach over here. So it can be accessed only sequentially. Okay, that was the point. So the correct option is D1. Okay, so D is the correct option. Now going to the next question, eighth one. Which of the following statement is false? Okay, so the time complexity of a binary search is O log, and this is true. Okay, a linear search requires a sorted list. False. A linear search does not require a sorted list. A binary search requires a sorted list. Binary, sorted. It has to be sorted. Linear, no. It can be anything. Linear, it can be anything. It can be anything. No need to for it to be sorted. Okay. No need for it to be sorted. Okay. So the B option is the wrong one. And we have discussed the time complexity as well. Sometimes people worry about what is that. The time complexity is the computational complexity. It describes the amount of computer time it takes to run an algorithm. Okay. Now, what happens is that when you write a program, there are two things that we have to take into consideration. One is the time, how much time it is taking for run. Okay. And the second is the space, how much space it is occupying. Okay. Keeping those things in mind, there is something called as code optimization, which will become a very common and very known term. Once you start working in any kind of corporate, you have to optimize your code every now and then so that it can it can execute faster, it occupies a lesser space. So in that, time complexity is a part of code optimization. Okay, so that was just to tell you in case you are getting confused about what is time complexity. Okay, and time complexity is always denoted by big O notation. That what we follow. Okay, so now going to the next one. Now Isa wrote a function fact in C language to calculate factorial of a given number and save the file as fact.c. Okay, now C forgot to code the main function to call this fact function. Will C be able to compile this fact.c without the main function? Now here you see it is fact.c. So it means it is a C file. Okay, it is a C file, right? Now, the basic requirement for any C file to compile is that it has to have a main function. So the answer is no, C cannot compile as the main function is required to compile any C program. Had it been fact.h, if C was creating a header file, okay? If C was creating a header file without the main function also, it could have run. But since C is talking about a C function, so it is not going to work without having a main function. Okay, the correct answer is B. No, C cannot compile it. Okay, now let's go ahead. The difference between variable declaration and variable definition. Okay, now here look at the option. Declaration and definition are same? Absolutely not. They are not both the same. A declaration is used for variables and definitions are used for function. No, absolutely false. Declaration associates type to the variable, whereas definition associates a scope to the variable. This is also false. So here we have given only three options. Sometimes what happens is that even if you're not sure, but you look at the other two, you feel like, okay, this might be the one which is going to be right, but not necessarily it is going to be the same. It is going to be the same way. I have intentionally not given the fourth option over here, and the fourth option I have included over here. You see it. Declaration associates type to the variable. Definition gives, whereas definition gives the value, gives the value to the variable. Okay, it means what? You write int a. This is declaration, and when you write int a is equal to 5, this is definition. Okay, this is what it is. Definition is, okay, this is definition. Okay, and this is declaration. So not necessarily if you feel confident about something, then to go for it. Most of the time when I give these three options, people end up, marking C as the right option because they feel this might be true, but this is not true. The correct option is this one. Declaration associates type to the variable, whereas definition gives the value to the variable. That is what definition means, okay? The same thing applies to the function declaration and function definition as well. Okay, so that was the correct option. The question now. The first question is, consider the below series. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 5, 3, 7, 5, 11, 8, 13, 13, 17. Now this is very confusing. By looking at the series, it is very confusing. So let's read more about it. Okay. Now, this series is a mixture of two series. Okay, fair enough. All the odd terms in this series form a Fibonacci series, and all the even terms are the prime numbers in ascending order. Okay, now we got it. Okay, so even number, odd are the Fibonacci. Okay, so 1, 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 5, and then 8, and then 13. These are the odd one and they form a Fibonacci series. And the even ones are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17. These are the even one and they form a prime number. Okay. So, okay, what we will do is that we'll just write about it here. Okay, so we have the Fibonacci. I'll denote it with F. So it is having 1, 1, 2, and then we have 3, and then we have A 5, and then we have 8, and then we have 13. Okay, we have this series given. Then we have the prime number P, which is 2, and then we have 3, and then we have 2, and then we have, sorry, okay, I'll just click over here. Then we have 2, and then we have 3, and then we have 7. Okay, again it came. Okay, so 2, and then 3, and then again it is 7, and then we have 11, and then we have 13, and then we have 17. Okay. Okay, so now the numbering is pretty simple. The first term, this is 0, not 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, this is 8, this is 9, this is 10, this is 11, this is 12, and this is 13. Okay, did I do it in the wrong way? I believe okay, I guess it. Okay, so let's ignore that part. Okay, so now the point is that, see here, 1, and then 1, and then 2. Okay, the round one are the Fibonacci one. Okay, the round one are the Fibonacci one, and the rest others are the prime numbers. Okay, so basically it is a combination of two series. Okay, one is Fibonacci and the other is prime. We know how to generate Fibonacci. We know how to generate prime number. We know that, right? Now the point is that the number varies here. The number is that if I'm talking about the fifth term in the Fibonacci, so it is not the fifth term here. See, the fifth term is coming at what term? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay, this is the fifth term in the series, but this is the fifth term of the Fibonacci, but here which term it is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the ninth term of the series. Ninth term of the series, I am printing the fifth term of the Fibonacci. So there comes the difference. Now what they're asking in the question is that the value n is a positive integer. So, and okay, let me just clear it out if I can just clear it. Okay. Uh, 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 okay, great. I got it. So now let's do it once again. Okay, so we have the prime number and then we have the Fibonacci. So in the prime number, we have 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and then we have 17. These are the prime number. The Fibonacci series is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13. Okay, so these are the two. Now the point is that combining these two, we are getting it. Okay, so the first prime number that we have is second in the series. Okay, so basically whatever number we have to generate, if we find the nth term in the series, if it is even, so it is going to be the n by 2 of the prime number part. And if it is odd, if n is odd, okay, if n is odd, if n turns out to be odd, then it is not going to be the nth term in the Fibonacci. It is going to be the n by 2 plus 1 term in the Fibonacci, right? Because look at this, 1, 1, 2. Okay, the third term in the Fibonacci series, we know this is the third term, but here in our series it is 1, and then it is 2, and then it is 3, and then it is 4, and then it is 5. So this is the fifth term. How are you going to calculate 5? right? So basically the 3 from 5. So basically you are going to 5 by 2 plus 1. So this will give you the integer 2 plus 1, so we'll get 3. So this is the logic that we are going to use. Okay, so now what we will do is that without wasting any time, I'll just stop the screen share here. I hope you understood it. So, and now we are going to make the program. So we'll make two functions. We will make two independent functions. One is going to the Fibonacci series and the other is going to be the one is going to be the Fibonacci series and the other is going to be the prime number generator, and then we will call it based on the thing. Now here it is given something. Let me just clear it once again. Let me just clear it once again. It is all like, okay. The value n is a positive integer that should be read out from stdn. The nth term that is calculated by the program should be written to std out. Other than the value of nth term, no other character or string or message should be written to std out. Okay. For example, when n is equal to 14, the 14th term in the series is 17, so only 17 should be printed out. Okay, great. So they did not want they did not want us to print any other thing other than the series term. Okay, so I'll stop the screen share over here, and then I'll share my dev C++ screen to you. And now what we are going to do is that we are going to start writing. Okay, so we'll start writing. So hash include, okay, stdio.h. Okay, first line done. Then what we'll do is that we'll define a maximum. Okay, we'll define a max so that we have a value with us. Okay, max 1000. We are declaring it like that. Now we will talk about creating the Fibonacci series. Okay, the function for Fibonacci series. Okay, so void Fibonacci, it will take a number on which term you want to generate, which particular term you want to generate of that Fibonacci series. Okay, then we have int I normal for the loop. Then we have t1, which is for first term. Then we have, and I'll declare initialize it to 0. And then we have t2, okay, which is for the next term. I'll make it as 1. Then I'll have next term. Okay, I'll have next term as well, which is the next term to find it. Okay, then simple, we will run a loop for I is equal to, we'll start with 1. Let's go with 1, and then I less than equal to, we'll go till n. We'll go till n because this is what that particular number we have to generate, I plus plus. Okay, that was the tricky part, that you have to run the loop till that n. Okay, then we know what we do in Fibonacci series. We just write it with next term is equal to t1 plus t2. This is what we do, t1 plus t2. Then we swap it, t1 becomes t2, and then T2 becomes the next term. This is what we do. It is simple. Now the question is that which term are we going to print? So print, we are going to print T1. Okay, printf percentile D, and then we are going to print T1. That's it. We do not want any other output as per the thing. So we are just going to make it simple, printf T1. So now this is the Fibonacci function. Okay, so I'm writing here. This is to generate the Fibonacci term. Fibonacci nth term from the series. Okay, and as we already discussed, nth term from our series is going to be different. Okay, nth term from our series is going to be different here because our series is a combination of Fibonacci and the prime number. Okay, now what we are going to do is that we will write here function for prime number. Okay, prime number generator. Okay, prime number generator. Now here again void prime, I'll make it as prime, sorry, prime, and here also the same thing, int n will come over here as well. Okay, now what we have to do is that here also I have to take few variables. Int I will be there, j will be there. I need to have a flag variable as well, and I need to have a counter variable as well. Okay, I hope you all know how to find a how to generate a prime number. In case not, then this program is going to help you anyway. So what I will do is that I'll start with I is equal to 2. I will go with I less than equal to max. I will go till maximum value, and then I will increase I plus plus. Then what I'm going to do is that now here our things will change. Okay. Now here, what I will do is that I'll make flag is equal to 0 here. I'll make in the loop inside, I'll make flag is equal to 0. Okay. Now what I have to do is that here I will start another loop, and here it is going to start with z is equal to 2, and then it is going to go till z less than equal to I. Okay, because now for each value I have to find a prime number. Okay, I have to find whether it is a prime number or not. Then j plus plus. Then what I will do is that here I will just I will just check if I modulus j is equal to 0. If it is so, then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make flag is equal to 1, and then I'm going to break this loop, because now, okay, it cannot be a prime number, so I'm breaking the loop. If it is not, then what will happen is that, okay, the loop will run once again. Okay, if it is not so, then the things will continue. Now what I'll do here is that now outside this loop, I'm going to write another thing. I'm going to write if flag is equal to 0. It means what? I am getting a prime number. If the flag is still 0 and I'm getting a prime number, then what I will do is that I'll increase the count variable. Okay, I'll increase the count variable. Now what is the use of this count variable? The point is that this variable itself is going to that particular term. So basically what we are doing is that we are finding a prime number, and every time we are finding a prime number, we are increasing the count. Okay, so let's suppose we found 2, we got 2, the count became 1. We got 3, count became 3. We got 5, the count became 3. We got 7, the count became 4. We got 11, the count became 5. Okay, because now we need to find the, like suppose I need to find the seventh prime number, right? Seventh prime number, how will I come to know which is seventh prime number? Based on that only I have to make a call, right? And this n which is there now, this is where I have to check. So what I will do now is that I'll check if your count is equal to n. If your count is equal to n, then what you have to do is that you have to printf. You just have to print the value over there, printf percentile di. Okay, because this is the one which is having the number, and then you have to break the loop. Okay, this is what you have to do basically. That's it. So in the prime function, this is what you have to do. Now you understood what I'm doing, because I don't know the nth number which the user is entered till when it is going to come. So that's the reason I'm running it till maximum value. And then what I'm doing is that I'm finding whether that is a prime number or not. If it is a prime number, I'm increasing the count, and then I'm matching. If that particular number, the nth number of the nth prime number is equal to the number which the user wanted, that in the series, right, we are printing it, and then we are breaking the loop. That's what we are doing. Okay, now we'll come to our main function. Okay, so now let's write the main function, and the main function is going to be, simple only. It is not going to include much, but here also there will be a bit of logic we'll be using. Okay, int main, because here we have to make a decision which function to call, Fibonacci or the prime. Okay, so now here what we are going to do is that we will have int n. Okay, now scanf, we will just take an input from the user, which one you want to have, which particular series number you want to have. Okay, and then what we will do is that if n modulus 2 is equal to 0, if it is so, if it is equal to 0 and modulus 2 is equal to 0, then what we are going to do is that which function we are going to call, the even was prime. Okay, so we are going to call prime with n by 2. We already discussed why it is n by 2. Else, what we are going to do is that we are going to call Fibonacci. Okay, Fibonacci. And we are going to call with n by 2 plus 1. Okay, so this is what we are going to do over here. Return 0 or return 1, anything is fine. Okay, so now I believe the program is fine. So let's save it and let's try to, compile it and see. Okay, so here it is saying int in function void prime int. Okay, int n count is equal to n. So it is showing an error. So let us see what the error is. Expected semicolon before break. Okay, so I have missed a semicolon over here. That's it. Okay, fine. So 14. They gave 14 as 17. Okay, so I didn't get any output over here. And let's check why I didn't get any output. And what do you think? What do you think? Why didn't we get an output if count is equal to n? Okay, so what we will do is that since we have run the program, let's compile it one more time with some other value. Let's give 12. Okay, so it is not printing anything. So maybe our print statement somewhere is missing something. Percentile D. Okay, Fibonacci is fine. Are we calling the right function? Let's match the name also. That should not be an issue. That should not be an issue, because had it been wrong, we would have got an error for that, but still let's do it. Okay, and let's try it once again. 14. Okay, so still we are not getting an error on output. So now let's run the let's match check it once again. Okay, So I and then T1 is equal to 0, and then we have T2 is equal to 1 next term. Okay, then int I less than equal to an I plus plus next term T1 plus T2. T1 is equal to T2, T2 is equal to next term. So we swapped it, everything is fine, and then we are printing printf percentile d t1. Okay, printf percentile d t1. So everything we are doing here till here is fine. Then we are closing it. Then we are including starting another function void prime int n. Then I is equal to I save flag count. These are the four variables that I need. I made flag is equal to 0. Okay, which I am supposed to make it as part of that. Okay, int I is equal to 2, I less than equal to max, I plus plus, that is also fine. Okay, then we have flag is equal to 0, and then we have j is equal to 2, j less than equal to I. Okay, here I'll change it to less than because I don't need to go till that number. And then j plus plus, if I modulus j is equal to 0, flag is equal to 1, break, that is absolutely fine. If flag is equal to 0, we are doing count plus plus. Okay, we are increasing the count if count is equal to n. Okay, then what we are doing is that, okay, there also the bracket is proper, and then we are having printf percentile di. Okay, printf percentile di because that is the number which is there. Okay, and then intn in the main part, it is intn scanf percentile d ampersand n, and then we are doing if n modulus 2 is equal to 0, then what we are doing is that we are calling prime n upon 2. Fine, this is absolutely fine. Then n the else part Fibonacci. I don't think there is an error. Let's run it once again. Now we got it. Okay, so it's working fine. Okay, so I don't know, maybe that less than equal to was the mistake, but we finally got it, and I hope you understood. And sometimes you get an error, right? And this is how you learn coding. The more you do it, the more practice you will get, the more idea will have you will have. You will not get it in the first attempt, but if you keep trying it, you will get it. Okay, so that was it. Now we'll go to the other question. Okay, so now we will go to the other question. So I'm stopping the screen share. Now it's time for us to have a look at the coding 2 questions. Okay, so let me share my entire screen with you and then we will go ahead. Okay, great. So now the question is, a city bus is a ring route bus which runs in a circular fashion. Okay, so it's quite clear that it is a ring route bus which runs in circular fashion. Great. That is, bus wants to start at the source bus stop and halts at each bus stop in its route, and at the end it reaches the source bus stop again. If there are n number of stops and if the bus starts at bus stop 1, then after nth bus stop, the next stop in the route will be bus stop number 1 always. If there are n stops, there will be n path. One path connect two stops. Distance in meter for all path in ring route is given in array path as given. Okay, so they have given us an array. Fare is determined based on the distance covered from source to destination stop, as distance between input source and destination stops can be measured by looking at values in array path, and fare can be calculated as per following criteria. So let us have a look at the criteria. So if D is equal to 1000 meter, then fare is 5 rupees. Okay. So when calculating fare for others, the calculated fare containing any fraction values should be sealed. For example, for distance 900 meter, when fare initially calculated is 4.5, which must be sealed to 5. Okay. Now path is circular in function. Value at each index indicate distance till current stop from the previous one. And each index position can be mapped with values at same index in bus stop array, which is a string array holding abbreviation of names for all stops as. So they given up the abbreviation for all the stop. Given n is equal to 8, where n is the number of total bus stops. Okay, they have an array over here as well. Okay, let's see what they're asking. So they're asking us to write a code with function getFare, string source, string destination, which takes input as source and destination stop in the format containing first two character of the name of the bus stop, okay, and calculate and return travel fare. And they have given few example as well, CA and CA, the source and the destinations are same, then it is an invalid output, expected as expected, source and destination cannot be same. Now let us look at some other thing. Okay, so they have example 2 as well, NI and HA, then the output value is 23.0 INR. Okay, so NI and HA. Let's see where is NI and HA. Okay, so NI is here and HA is here. So basically it is going from here. Then from here it is coming here. From here it is coming here and like this. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, so let me clear everything out so that we can, just mark these two. Okay, these two. Okay, Ni and Ha. So this is my source. This is my source and this is my destination. Okay, now let us go back and read the question once again. And here also I'll delete everything so that we can have a fresh start. Okay, so basically let's try to draw some figure. So basically it is a circle. Okay, sorry, I have not made a complete circle. Okay, let me try it one more time. Okay, so basically, fine. This is far better than the previous one, the big one. Okay, so now a circular in fashion, we have made it, and bus one start at the source bus stop, halts at each bus stop in its route, and at the end it reaches the source bus station, source bus stop again, source bus stop again. Okay, so it starts from here, it will travel all the way, it will travel all the way, it will travel all the way, right, and will reach here again. Okay, this is what it is saying. So if there are n number of stops and if the bus starts at bus stop 1, then after nth stop, the next stop in the route will be bus number 1 always. Fine. If there are n stop, there will be n path. So the array is given simple. Now what we have to do is that basically, let's suppose what is given over here is that it is starting from here. So what we can do is that, like, if we know the source code, okay, if we know the source code, we can find the index. So let's suppose we found the index for s, okay, for ni is 100. It is going to be this one, 7. So basically from 7 to 8 we have to add, then we have to add from 8 to 1, then 1 to 2, then 2 to 3. This is what we have to do, right? uh, Sorry, 0 will be there because it is index 0, right? 0 it is going to be, right? 0 and then 0 to 1. Okay, let me delete it once again and do it once again for you. Okay, now see here, the source and destination is given. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this is what it is given. Okay, so basically it is going to be 6 to 7. This much distance we should add. Then we should add 7 to 0, right? 7 to 0, right? And then we should add 0 to 1, then 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3. These are the things that we have to add. Now the point is that how are we going to get back from here to here? That is the only trick. Other than it's very straightforward question. Nothing much logic is here, right? You find the source index, find the way fare, what is the fare over there, and then keep on adding it till the destination is reached. But when you write it, you do not know it, right? You do not know it in real time what is happening. So there must be a logic, right? There must be a logic which will connect everything. So the logic that we are going to use over here is, it is going to be, since it has 8 stops, so we will have to use something like I modulus 8. Okay, this is what we are going to use for the loop condition. When we will write the program, you will understand that. Okay, so now we have got everything. Okay, and I have already made a note of it in the notebook so that, while writing the program, I do not have to come back here again. So what I will do is that I will go to the dev C++ window, okay, and directly start writing. So file, new source file, fine. And now even I do not know which all header files I'm going to use. So what I'm going to use is that I'm going to use a different kind, which you might wonder what it is. Okay, but there is nothing to wonder. Okay, I'm using bits stdc, okay, plus dot h. Okay, usually you should not use this header file because it contains all the header file. It adds a lot of, a lot of unnecessary stuff and increases the compilation time. You should not use that. But right now I'm using it because I do not want to waste a lot of time in searching for the header files and then, correcting the error. So that's the reason I'm directly using it. Okay, so this is what it is. So using namespace std, that is, kind of formality we made, then int main. Okay, now what we are going to do is that we are going to have a string, two things. We have a string s, which is for the source, and then we have the destination. So I have written as s, source and destination. Then I'll be taking the input, right? And I'll be taking the input as s and then d. So I have got the input of the source and the destination. Now what I'm going to use is that, now the understand what can happen is that the user can enter the source and the destination in any, in uppercase, lowercase, camel case, whatever, but will have an array where everything will be in capital letter, as you have seen here, right? Everything is in capital letters, right? See here, everything is in capital letter, right? So I have to convert that into capital letter, right? Because otherwise while matching it, there will be an error. So what I will do is that I will use a function, okay? I'll use a function which is transform. Now what basically it does is that it converts everything into the uppercase or the lowercase, whatever you give, okay? So this is what it does. So s begin, then s dot end, okay? Then we will have s dot begin once again, s dot begin. Okay, so we have got that. Now here what we have to do is that a comma will be there, and then there will be a, you know, two colon. The two colon will be there, and then we'll be writing two upper. Okay, this is how what the syntax look like. Okay, let's take some time to, you know, grasp it. S dot begin, then S dot end. Of course the function is there, so there will be, you know, round brackets for sure. Then we have S dot begin, then we have a comma, and then we have two colon, and then two upper, and then semicolon. Okay, and the same thing is going to happen uh, for the destination as well. So I'm just copying pasting it, and I'm writing d dot begin. Okay, and here I'm writing d dot end, and here I'm writing d dot begin once again. So this part is done. Now what I have to do is that I have to make a string array of, you know, source path which was there, right? All the things. So it was an array of 8, and here it is going to have so many things. Okay, so let me switch on the caps lock. Okay, so first was th. Okay, let's have a look at it once again. So it was th okay, ga, and then we have ic. Okay, and then we had what? We have hatelu. Okay, so we have ha, then we had te. Okay, and then we had LU was there. Okay, I'll match it once again anyway. Okay, LU was there, NI and CA. Okay, NI and then CA. Okay, so this was our array for the source code. Okay, this was it. Okay, THGAIC Okay, I hope I'm not making any mistake. Okay, now I'll switch off the caps lock. Then float array we'll make for uh, the distance which is there, right? The distance which is here. Okay, and here it was, let us check the distance once again. 800, 600, 750. Okay, 800, 600, 750, 800, 600, 750, 900, and then we had 900, and then 1400, 1200, 1100, 1500. Okay, 1400, and then 1200, and then 1100, and then 1500. These were the this thing. Okay, the distance 800, 600, 750, 900, 1400, 1200, 1100, 1500. This is what it is. Okay, now I will take another variable which will calculate the fare. So I'll write here float fare. Okay, and then I'll be taking two more things to find the index. I need to find the index. You know, I need to find this index and the this index, the starting and the ending point. For that, I'll be using st and ed, start and end. Okay, these are the two variables that I'm using. Okay, I hope there is no confusion till here because we are not doing anything. Now what we have to do is that we have to just run a loop. So I'll write I is equal to 0, I less than 8, I plus plus, right? This is what I have to do. I have to go through each one of them and find the source and the destination where I'm finding it, right? So if something, okay, wait, fine. Now if uh, S is equal to S is equal to, now what is S? What the user has entered, okay, the source. If S is equal to ARRSI, if I'm finding it, then what I will do is that, okay, I'll directly make ST is equal to I. This is what my starting point will be, right? And similarly, if D is equal to ARRS of I, okay, then what I should do is that similarly I should make ED is equal to I. Still here I should not find there should be any difficulty. I don't think there should be any, because here what we are doing is that, okay, I'll write it comment here. We are finding the starting index and the ending index in terms of source and destination. Okay, not in terms of index with the help of index, URL of source and destination entered by the user, entered by the user. Okay, this is what I'm doing it. Okay, chalo, fine. This is what we are doing over here. Okay, let me make it 2 lines so that it will be easy for all of you to do it. Okay, so this is what we have done over here. Now done. Now what I have to do is that there was one more case which was given here. You see here, if CA is equal to CA, then it should be invalid input. So I should check that both the things are not same. Okay, so for that it's very simple. We have the starting and the endpoint. I'll just match both of them. If ST is equal to ED, then what I should do is that I should directly see out. Okay, what I should do, see out invalid input. Okay, invalid input, right? Okay, as simple as that, nothing much. And then return 0. That's it. Okay, this is one case, it's done. One case we have tackled it. Now if it is not the case, then what should happen, right? Now here comes all the logic that we are going to put over here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to have int I is equal to st plus 1. I'm just going to increase the value, the starting and the ending also I will increase. Okay, and now what I will do is that I will run a loop while I is not equal to ed plus 1. Okay, my starting is not equal to the ending. This is the loop that I was talking about. Here what will be the increment decrement? So I have initialized it, I is equal to st plus 1. So there it was given 7. Now I have, no, it was given as 6. Okay, it was ni and ca. So ni was 6. So now I made I is equal to 7. So far so good. I don't find anything difficulty happening so far. Now what I have to do is that, okay, I have to calculate the fare. So fare is equal to fare is equal to fare plus what I should do? Pair plus what? Array of I, right? Array of I. This is what should happen, right? Now everything. So from 6, 7, 8, 1, 0, 1. Now how it will go to 0? That is the point that we have to think about. Now there will come the logic that I will talk that we talked about. I modulus I plus 1, and then you take the modulus, okay, with 8, because it is a circular one and it is already given that there are 8 stops. Had it been 10, we would have divided it by 10. Had it been 12, we would have divided it by 12. Okay, so this is what you have to understand over here, and that's the only thing you have to do. After that, what you have to do is that just print cout, and we have to use the ceil function as well. So I'm using the ceil function, and then okay, fare multiplied by what? Multiplied by 0.005. This is what was given to us, right? Or we calculated, and then return 0. Simple. Okay, I hope you understood this part, because this is the only tricky part. Rest everything is simple. What I'm doing is that, let's do it once again. So we started from ni. Okay, ni was given as 6. Ni was 6. So I made it to 7. I increased the value to 7. Then what I'm doing is that I'm running a loop while I is not equal to ed plus 1. Ed plus 1 means what? Ed was the end point. So ed was ha. Okay, so this was 3. So till I increase it to 4. I increase it to 4. Then what I'm doing is that I'm adding all the fares in between, all the index fare, like 1500, 800, 600, 750. And for that to do, in order to move from 7 to 0 once again, I have to use this logic. Okay, this is the thing. Now let's try to compile it and run it and check if everything is fine. So what I will do is that I will give it a fare calculation. Okay, fare calculation. And are we having any error over here? I don't find it. Okay. Okay, no error. So now ni and then ha and 23. Okay, and let's match it. Ni and ha I entered, it was 23, and this is what they also wanted has to have, right? Ni and ha, and it is 23. Exactly, we are getting it. Okay, we will run it once again. We will run it one more time. I have the window here. Let me run it one more time. Okay, and this time in capital letter ni and then ha, and still we are getting 23. See, okay. So this is done. Okay, it was not that complex as it looks like. Though question was long, but always understand the lengthier the question will be, the shorter will be the solution. Keep that in mind always. Okay, this was the only tricky part. Rest everything was very simple. We just had to do the formalities. You might find this one a bit tough to understand. Okay, but you can use another logic also if you want to. You can replace this with another simple logic also. But for the time being, I don't want it to get into more things. So I just knew it and I just used it. As simple as that. Okay. So now I'm stopping my screen share. With that, we come to the end of our session. The TCS NQT format for coding contains sections on MCQ, short coding, and long coding questions. We solved one question paper today, and we look forward to have you in our next videos as well. Thank you so much and have a great day.